All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving into something today that's been all over my social media feeds lately.
Yeah, definitely seen it around.
It's kind of freaking people out, and for good reason, I think.
Yeah,
It's unauthorized bank withdrawals, and people are saying that they're not even getting the OTP notifications,
that's right.
like the ones we rely on
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make sure that it's us making a purchase or withdrawal.
yeah,
We're seeing it a lot with Eastern Bank and Brack Bank,
right.
and it seems like it's primarily affecting people with dual currency or credit cards.
Yeah.
So if that's you listening, definitely pay attention
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to try to get to the bottom of this today.
Yeah, it's a lot of fear and confusion right now for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the big thing here is something called the bin attack,
Hmm.
which sounds,
It does sound kind of scary, right?
yeah, and I don't even fully understand it.
Yeah,
A bin in is a bank identification number,
right.
and it's basically just the first few digits on your card that identify which bank issued it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's that simple.
You wouldn't think that that would be something that hackers would even target,
You really wouldn't.
but apparently they are.
They are, yep. And it's been happening for a while, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So in this particular situation,
Mhm.
um, what's happening?
So what we're seeing is people are logging into their bank accounts or checking their statements and realizing
Right.
that money's gone.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, one big transaction.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, God.
Like just tiny little withdrawals.
Wow.
Sometimes hundreds of them. Like one person reported 315 unauthorized transactions on their account.
Oh, my gosh. That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts? And the thing that's, I think, making everyone so nervous is that they're not getting those OTP notifications.
Yeah.
So they don't even know it's happening until the damage is done.
Right. And, we're so used to having that as our second layer of protection.
Absolutely.
We kind of just assume, well, if I don't get an OTP message,
You're good.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
The Bangladesh Cybersecurity Intelligence is investigating all this. But how is this even possible? Like, how do they exploit this?
Yeah. So, think about like when you add your card to something like Facebook Ad Manager.
Right.
Do they always ask for your full name?
No, they don't actually.
A lot of times all they need is like the card number,
Yeah.
the date of birth, and the CVC.
Mm.
So that's where the vulnerability lies.
I see.
So if hackers get their hands on a bin,
Right.
they can actually generate valid card numbers.
Oh.
Like sequentially. So they'll just like, try a bunch of different combinations
Right.
until they find one that works, and then they can use that to make purchases.
So is it just random guessing, or like is there some kind of science to it?
It's a little of both, honestly.
Yeah.
There are some algorithms and stuff that can make the process faster,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of it is just brute force, like trying every possible combination until you find one that works.
Oh my gosh.
And then the other piece of this is that platforms like Facebook, they're considered trusted international gateways.
Oh, I see.
So if you make a purchase through Facebook,
Yeah.
the bank might not even require an OTP because they're assuming it's legitimate because it's coming from a trusted source.
So it's almost like using that platform as a shield.
Right. Yeah, it's like hiding in plain sight.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But how do they even get like a ton of bins in the first place?
Oh, there are all sorts of ways, like data breaches,
Right.
phishing scams.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they'll even just buy them on the dark web.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's a whole underground economy.
So they're essentially taking advantage of the fact that these big platforms
Right.
have a lot of trust
Absolutely.
to basically bypass the normal security measures.
And they're doing it at scale. Like
Yeah.
they're using these things called botnets, which are basically networks of hijacked computers
Oh, wow.
to try thousands or even millions of card combinations really, really quickly.
So it's not just some guy in his basement.
It's a little more sophisticated than that.
It's like a whole operation.
It is. Yeah. It's organized crime.
Wow. So what can we do?
Yeah. What can we do to stop it? Right.
Like, I mean, I guess there's stuff that the banks can do,
Absolutely.
but is there anything that we can do, like as individuals,
Yeah, for sure.
to protect ourselves?
Yeah. So on the bank side, they really need to step up their security measures.
Yeah.
Like two-factor authentication is a must.
Right.
Like not just your card details, but something else, like a code sent to your phone or a fingerprint scan or something
Right.
that only you have access to.
Yeah.
And they should also be requiring the CVV for every transaction.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like not just for online purchases, but for everything.
Yeah.
And they really need to limit login attempts to prevent brute force attacks.
Right. Yeah, just like shutting it down after a few tries.
Exactly, yeah. And there's more sophisticated stuff too, like fraud detection systems that use AI.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah, they can analyze your spending patterns and flag anything that looks suspicious.
Right.
Like, if you suddenly start making a bunch of small purchases from online stores that you've never used before,
Mm-hmm.
that might trigger a red flag.
I see.
And then there's behavioral biometrics,
Okay.
which can analyze things like how you type or how you hold your phone to verify that it's actually you making the transaction.
Wow.
Yeah, it's getting pretty high tech.
It's crazy.
But on the individual side, there's also a lot we can do.
Okay, good, because that makes me feel a little bit better
Yeah.
that it's not all on the banks.
Yeah. Vigilance is key. Like, check your bank statements regularly.
Okay.
And don't just glance at the balance. Actually go through each transaction and make sure you recognize it.
Right.
If you see something that seems off, report it to your bank immediately. And a lot of banks offer temporary card numbers for online shopping.
Yeah.
Definitely use those whenever possible.
Okay.
And set up transaction alerts.
Right.
So you get notified every time your card is used.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah. And of course, just practice good online hygiene.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, stick to secure websites.
Oh, yeah.
Look for the HTTPS in the address bar.
Right.
Avoid clicking on suspicious links or entering your card information on shady sites.
Yeah.
And if you lose your card, report it to your bank immediately.
Right. Don't wait.
Don't wait. Yeah, because every minute counts in those situations.
Okay, so basically be smart,
Exactly.
be aware, and pay attention.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask your bank questions.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not sure about something, just give them a call.
Right.
They're there to help.
Good advice.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right, well, I think that was really eye-opening
Yeah,
and actually helpful
I hope so.
because I was feeling kind of nervous about this whole thing.
I get it. It's scary stuff.
But it seems like there are things we can do to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of being proactive.
That's the key. Yeah.
And I think the big takeaway here is that
Mm.
even something as seemingly insignificant as your bin can be a gateway for hackers.
Exactly.
So we really need to be careful about who we give our information to
Absolutely.
and how we protect it.
And the methods hackers use are constantly evolving.
Yeah.
So we need to be aware of that and adapt our security practices accordingly.
It makes you wonder what other seemingly mundane piece of information might become a vulnerability in the future.
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of scary to think about.
It is. Yeah. The future of cybersecurity is both exciting and terrifying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So we've got to stay informed
Definitely.
and stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And we'd love to hear from you. What steps are you taking to protect your financial information?
Yeah. Let's keep this conversation going.
Let's continue the conversation on social media. And until next time, stay safe out there.
Stay safe.